United have a new coach. Sort of. All right. So the news broke this week that Ralf Rangnick is now going to be taking over at Manchester United. He is going to be the coach for 6 months and then moving into an advocacy / sporting director role. When this news came out this week, I kind of laughed and said, this is kind of typical Man United. They're not making a decision. They're kind of putting on things on hold. They are just putting it off. They didn't get the manager they wanted. They waited too long. Things went wrong. I got to be honest. After reading about Ralf Rangnick, reading about what he's done, what he brings, I couldn't be more wrong. I thought this was going to be a terrible hire. I thought this was going to be one of those things where it's just a cover-up. It's a Band-Aid. It could go drastically wrong. The board didn't want to spend money. Again, wrong. I think this is probably the best hire they could have had. They didn't just get a soccer coach. They got someone who's going to instill a style that can be played for the next 10 to 12 years at this club. I did a lot of research. I've done a lot of reading on Ralf Rangnick, and it is impressive. The coaches who've learned under him, I had no idea. All right, so who is Ralf Rangnick? This man, he's German, staunch German. He's demanding, very demanding. He's a teacher. He doesn't hide secrets. He likes to teach coaches. He likes to teach players. If you are in the club that he is at, you will learn and you will either convert to his style, or you are out of there. He is very demanding and he knows what he wants, and it works. He brings something called gegenpressing. What the hell is gegenpressing, you might be asking? All right, so here's the official term. Gegenpressing was coined back in the 90s, and it refers to an intense style of football that sees a team press high when out of possession in order to win the ball back as soon as they lose it. Right, gegenpressing. It's new in the last 4 to 5 years, I would say. When a team loses the ball, they swarm, they hunt. The player closest to the ball hunts for it and is relentless. Then the next player who's closest kind of starts to sway and push the opposition team with the ball in a certain direction. And then there's a third player that starts to hunt, while all the rest of the players kind of break cover and make sure the ball can't be quickly outletted to the other players on the attacking team. Chelsea do this really, really well. Liverpool do this really well. So why do Liverpool and Chelsea do this well? Because Tuchel and Klopp both learned under Ralf Rangnick. I'm telling you, this is a very good hire by Man United. Ralf Rangnick believes in offensive thinking, forward defending, and pressing, and it's very ball-orientated play he brings. All right, at Hoffenheim, from 2006 to 2011, he constructed Germany's first vertically integrated club, where youth development, tactics, and transfer dealings were all streamlined to serve a common purpose. If you can think about that, it's not the first team, the reserve team, the U23s, the U21s, the U18s, and then a bunch of youth teams all playing how the coach who's overseeing those teams wants them to play. It's one mission, one through the entire club, streamlined, vertical through the entire club, playing in one specific style. It's absolutely brilliant. And what he does is he teaches all the coaches of those teams, the reserves, the U23s, the U18s, the youth teams. He teaches them this style, and that's what they do. This gegenpressing style requires young, fast players. So a lot of the transfer dealings that he has with the club that he goes to, that Ralf Rangnick goes to, they do not buy players who do not fit into this mold. Normally, He doesn't buy players over 23 years of age. It's it requires young, fast players in this ultra intense style, and because of this, the club did not buy players over 23. The Hoffenheim club when he was there, he was also coaching coaches within the club this vision so that they were all moving in the same direction. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Moving on from Hoffenheim, he then repeated this trick at Red Bull. As he was appointed to oversee their clubs from 2012 to 2020. He also stepped in twice during this time period as the coach. He sees himself as a teacher of the game. He holds no secrets. He can also be demanding, as I said. Overly demanding is the way other people have described him. Here's an interesting little bit of note for you. Ralf Rangnick turned down Chelsea's offer to be the caretaker manager after Frank Lampard was sacked. So Chelsea moved on to one of his other disciples, Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea did their homework. They saw that this is the style of play that needs to be implemented to win things. They wanted Ralf Rangnick. He turned them down. They then quickly went to one of his disciples who does this style of play and is very good at it, Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel used this play to win the Champions League last season. It works. It works really well. So how is this going to affect the current Man United team? Well, unfortunately, there's one player who won't like that, and it's Ronaldo. He doesn't press. He doesn't like to hustle back all the time. He definitely hustles back some of the time. He doesn't like to move, though. This is going to see Ronaldo get moved to the bench. This is going to be an interesting situation in Manchester with Ronaldo and Ralf Rangnick. I'm telling you guys, I think this is a brilliant hire by Manchester United. I think it's a great hire, one, because he can step in for 6 months, be the coach, get the current players running this gegenpressing style, see who fits the style, who can work it, and then he can then hire the manager that he wants to oversee this moving forward. I don't think it's going to be Pochettino. Pochettino isn't a Ralf Rangnick guy. Okay, so here's a quick list of people who have come out of the Ralf Rangnick, we'll call it coaching school. Tuchel, as mentioned, Julian Nagelsmann, who's currently at Bayern Munich. He's not leaving there. Marco Rose, Borussia Dortmund. Adi Hüttler, Mönchengladbach. Matthias Jassel, Jesse Marsch, Sebastian Hoeneß, Oscar Garcia, Peter Ziedler, Roger Schmidt, Marcus Gisdol. The list goes on. Ralf Hasenhüttl at Southampton. Now, Ralf Hasenhüttl at Southampton was one of the first people to be in this, we'll call it, school of teaching with Ralf Rangnick. He's at Southampton. He does not have a lot of money at Southampton. He's doing a very good job down there at Southampton. I think he could be the odds-on person to go to Manchester United at the end of the season and start being a manager there. Some other names that are of note, they're on this list that have come out of the under Ralf Rangnick school here is David Wagner. He's currently at Young Boys. Paul Mitchell at Monaco, and Christoph Freund at RB Salzburg. And then the last one on the list there in the MLS, Ernst Tanner. So that's very interesting. Again, I'd like to know everybody else's thoughts, but I really think this is a great hire by Manchester United. Yeah, I agree. Brooks is saying that the style a lot with New York Red Bull and Jesse Marsch there at Red Bull, and then Chris Armas. Not sure why Red Bull, Salzburg, and RB continued that day. I agree, man. It's interesting. Very, very good point, man. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a great hire. I thought they were just papering over. I thought this was a Band-Aid. I did not know much about Ralf Rangnick until I really started to look into him. He's 63 years old. He's been doing this for quite a few years. He comes with 3 or 4 people in his backroom staff that he likes to work with, that he takes to different places. His most recent team was Lokomotiv Moscow, where he's been there for about 2 years, about a year and a half now. So he leaves there and comes to Manchester United. For us who are not Manchester United fans, this is going to be a problem. And Jurgen Klopp came out and said it the other day. Unfortunately, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have a huge rival, Manchester United, and now they have a very good coach. It's unfortunate for the rest of the EPL. I agree. I absolutely agree. We've seen what this can do in the EPL. Thomas Tuchel had some good players. He brought some good players in, and he won the Champions League. Again, Chelsea are one of the best teams in the Premiership right now due to Thomas Tuchel, and I think that's inevitably because of Ralf Rangnick. So Manchester United, congratulations. Unfortunately, you have a really good coach. Well done. All right, let's move on. We can jump back to this a little bit here and there.